This is The Local Live.
Good evening. I'm Anthony Carlo. Welcome to another episode of The Local Live on this Thursday, May 14th. We're here to bring you the only news show that covers the Mamaroneck, Larchmont, and Rhinebeck communities. So without any further ado, let's take a look at the news we have coming up tonight. Hey, green thumbs. Pick up some eco-friendly gardening tips on this week's roundtable.
How does your garden grow? Is it grass or weed? Trees versus bushes. We're talking gardening, landscaping, and all things green. I'm Maura Carlin with Mike Witt.
And as always, you can join the conversation and get your questions answered by phone, email, or tweet. The contact information is seen on the screen.
And we are joined this evening by Jay Archer, president of Green Jay Landscaping, which focuses on ecological landscaping and organic land care. Jay, thank you for joining us. And let's start with, what is ecological landscaping?
Well, really what that means is that we are primarily motivated as human beings to embrace nature. In our busy lives, sometimes we are too busy to consider the outdoors. How does everybody go outside, walk your dog? Other than that, mow your lawn, pay somebody to mow your lawn? I'm personally motivated as a naturalist to feel it, to be present, to see the green, to feel it, to smell it. I love when I smell the new cut lawn.
So is this a way for us to get the environment safer or keep it safer as we tend to our greenery or flowers? Yeah,
safe is great, but beautiful. It's already beautiful. Westchester is beautiful. If we could take the time, not just to smell the flowers, but really see how beautiful Larchmont is, and Mamaroneck and Rye, and our whole community. It is wonderful. And can we make it better? Absolutely. How do we do it? Just little things.
Well, what kinds of things should we do?
Don't remove the leaves. Put the leaves back in the lawn. You see the signs everywhere.
You're talking about no more blowing?
Or raking?
Oh, well, maybe not. We're not saying don't blow at all. But yes, we can absolutely reduce blowing to a minimum. It's mostly unnecessary. It's a guy thing. We love to blow. We can't help it. We love chainsaws. We love blowers. It's a fun thing. Let's tell you the truth.
Well,
I walk around with a blower and I blow myself.
What happens when you leave the clippings on the lawn?
It gives back the organic matter that has been lacking to our soil in 50 years. For 50 years, you've been mowing your lawn and blowing off the topsoil and all the good stuff and giving it away and taking it to a landfill and paying for that. That's foolish. You talk about fertilizer? That's your fertilizer. That's your organic, natural fertilizer.
So why did we all start picking up the leaves to begin with? I mean, that goes back a long time. It may not have been
I'm not responsible for that. I'm an old guy, but I'm not that old. I was born at night, but not last night. I have no idea.
Let's talk about getting things growing. What's the best time of year to be out in your garden and get stuff, in shape?
Well, as my gardening professor, Ralph Snodman, said, 5 o'clock today. Start to change your life today in a positive way. What does that mean to you? So, yeah, do something. Stop mowing and blowing away all the good stuff. And maybe also reduce the size of your lawn, because maybe you don't need a lawn. If your children are not playing on a lawn, then don't do it. And also, if you have a dog that lays on your lawn, don't never apply pesticides and toxic chemicals.
Okay.
Would you put your infant child and your dog on a lawn that has a sign that says pesticides applied, don't enter for 24 hours? I wouldn't.
Right.
Do you have any recommendations for types of grass that does well in this area?
That's a great question. Yeah. Typically, believe it or not, the best, most productive grass seed is grown in Oregon, because our climate matches Oregon, and it's called improved perennial ryegrass. The best thing that you could do, excuse me, my voice, when it comes to plants is biodiversity. The more different species that you have, the better off you're going to be.
In what way? What makes it better? Just from a visual standpoint, or it's better for the soil? Or
Aesthetically, visual, yes. Do you like hummingbirds?
they're fine.
Butterflies?
Yes.
Fine. I love hummingbirds and butterflies. I'm a bug and bunny person.
Okay. Okay.
So what that means is, like, we left the job today, and the last plant that we just put over there, we walked away, and Laura says, "Oh, here's the monarch." 90% of the monarch butterflies have disappeared in the past several years. Partially because of Sandy and disruption of the environment. Partially because there's no host plants. We want to bring in more native plants to attract more beneficial insects, so you don't have to kill things.
Well, what plants are native to this area?
It's great native plants. Milkweed, which is butterfly weed, not
Okay.
butterfly bush. Butterfly bush is great. It attracts butterflies, but it doesn't have a host food source for the butterflies. There's a lot of plants that we can plant in our yard that are not food for us, but food for songbirds.
Okay.
And that's something we're interested in.
I have a question
Go
here
ahead.
coming in. This viewer wants to know, how do you reduce pollen? Can we?
I think you have to talk to God about that. I really have no
You hear that,
clue.
viewer? Talk to God.
I think, that's something we have to accept. Our human condition is a response, allergies, a response to our environmental sensitivities. If we eliminate pesticides, we'll be less sensitive to irritants in our environment. Pollen is an indicator that our immune systems are not what they should be. So we should work on our own human health to make ourselves stronger. Pollen didn't bother the Native Americans, which I am one. My people have been here for 100 years, so I consider myself a Native American.
Okay.
And I'm still sensitive to pollen because of my own damage to my immune system.
Yeah.
One of the things this community has to deal with is water problems and flooding. Are there things that can be planted here that would help alleviate that problem?
Yeah, that's a great question. You guys are doing a very good job. Westchester County is tremendously proactive in stormwater management, as is the Native Plant Center, Sheldrake, Rye Nature Center. Progressively, rain gardens instead of the Great American Lawn, and I made my living on, lawn care. So I can speak from both sides of the ecological issue. But yes, there's a lot of native plants that will help manage stormwater, and they're
Can you name
great.
some for us?
Oh, clethra. The most underutilized plant in America is French lilac. In our environment has been replaced by clethra, which is a Native American substitute for lilac.
Okay.
And it'll grow in drought and in inundation and flooding.
And it'll help absorb water?
Absolutely. How cool is that? Everybody should go buy clethra tomorrow.
Clethra.
5 o'clock today.
Can you
Ralph
spell that
Ralph's.
for me?
C-L-E-T-H-A, I believe.
Okay.
R-A.
All right.
Clethra.
Okay. There was an issue in the community about a year ago about bamboo. Can you explain why bamboo is a problem or shouldn't be a problem?
I think that leads into the greater issue of invasive plants. Plants are invasive as weeds. A weed is the wrong plant in the wrong place. There are places where I actually love bamboo. If you have ever been to Japan, bamboo is wonderful. Maybe it's not ideal in some of our climates, particularly because you plant it one place and it goes somewhere else.
Okay.
Maybe
so
that's not ideal. That becomes a design issue. So
Okay.
design for your place.
I've got a viewer here.
Okay.
She starts out by saying, how hard is it to grow avocados? But she's not, this is a real question that's coming up. She says, I think it's pretty hard. So my question is, what are some easy examples of vegetables that you can grow in your own garden?
Well, it really, what is your intention? I think it's great to grow your own food. You have to consider where you're going to grow the food. Are you going to be able to exclude deer from it? So you can grow vegetables on your deck, which I do in Rye, very successfully. Everything.
On the deck, in
Avocados,
pots?
No, I'm sorry, we don't
Not
grow
avocados,
avocados
no.
on the deck. But there's a tremendous, blueberries, everybody should plant blueberries. and raspberries because they're easy to grow. And even you can battle the deer and the other.
On the deck or in the ground with the
No, on
berries?
the ground.
In the
That's very
ground,
good.
the bushes.
That's very good. Yeah. Everybody should have blueberries. Blueberry pancakes on Sunday morning. Come on. Who doesn't want
And
that?
the birds love them, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, you can get from Gardens Alive. You can get a little hoop and screen them for the 2 weeks that they produce berries.
Yeah.
They're flowering right now,
Yeah.
and they're
Okay.
gorgeous, and they're a lot of fun.
People seem to have trouble with their tomatoes and the animals. Is there something special about tomatoes? And
Oh
is
yeah, it's a human behavior issue, right? Because we expect to plant them, and they just be all perfectly fine without us taking extreme care.
Okay.
So you need very good conditions, a lot of sunlight, number one, very good soil, which pertains to anything you grow. We have the tremendous resource of stone barns in Westchester.
right.
This is the best compost on the East Coast.
Are you saying that that the soil that, let's say, in our yards needs to be augmented or improved?
Yeah, probably, and I don't want to speak for your yard, but yes, most of the yards that we see, soil is terrible because it's biologically sterile and poor because you've been taking all the organic matter, the leaves and the clippings away for 50 years. You can't get it back overnight.
Okay. What about the supplements people often put on the soil or the soil that you buy to grow things in? Good or bad?
Good supplements are good.
Okay.
And how do you tell a good supplement from a bad supplement? Fewer chemicals?
Guaranteed analysis. So we recommend you talk to Cornell, Cooperative Extension. That's what we call your tax money at work in New York. Cornell's fabulous. They're right
So
here.
you can get information from
Oh,
them
yeah.
as to what you should be using. All right, I'm going to have to ask two basic questions.
Okay.
And they're grass related. How can you tell grass from a weed or a plant from a weed? Like which is which?
And then part of that is in the eye of the beholder. I look at you. I love
see
what
a
you're
weed?
wearing. I love what you're wearing. It's very stylish. I couldn't wear it. I couldn't wear it well. I don't know. What do you conceive of as a lawn? That's a great question. We have clients. We do not blow their lawn. No blowers. We recycle all the grass clippings. Is it a perfect lawn without pesticides? No. And some weeds bloom at different times.
Right. Sometimes they've got
We
little
like
purple
that.
flowers. Sometimes they have little
Right.
white ones.
And we like that.
Well, I guess what I'm picturing is that perfectly manicured green
It's
lawn.
unnatural.
Okay. Which brings me to the other side of the non-green lawn. We have a lot of rocks around here, and it seems like the grass around all the rocks is brown very, very easily.
Oh, you're so much fun. I love this. That's was they string trim against the rocks. Throw out the string trimmer, and what you can't get with a mower,
Yeah.
don't whack with a weed whacker. It's a guy thing. We love whacking things. Sorry. There you
I'm
go.
not going to touch
We
that.
love blowing.
So
we
you're
love
saying
whacking rocks.
we should leave the grass alone around
Well,
the
it's
rocks?
better than seeing brown grass against the rock.
Right.
What's wrong with that?
Well, it just seems like when it gets very hot.
It's a matter of perception. In the eye of the beholder, is that what's more attractive? To me, the grass is a little bit too long, but it's green. But if it's brown against the rock, that's not attractive.
Right. But what do you do to get rid of the brown?
Painted green.
Take the lawn out. Take the grass out. Do a rock garden. Do
Okay.
beautiful flowering plants against the rock. How cool is that?
You've been talking the whole time now about the great outdoors. What about the great indoors? What advice do you have for plants inside a house?
I love when you asked me that earlier. What we did in our own home is we did a living wall. That means we do it vertical gardens, indoors and outdoors. 1 square foot of indoor plants will clean 100 square feet of your air. So we cleaned our entire lower level in the home of 12,000 square feet with 100 square feet of plants. But we didn't stop there. Then we built an ecotarium, an aquarium with fish, frogs, and turtles of 400 gallons rather, that humidified the entire house for the winter and kept the humidity at 35%. Because I have a grand piano, a lot of vintage guitars. And the human body likes to be at 35% humidity. And we like to have pure, clean air. So that's a very pertinent question. We have a lot of volatile organic compounds in our building materials. So plants, wetland plants outdoors will clean water better than water treatment plants. Indoor plants, properly selected, designed, will clean the indoor air better than purification systems.
What about the bugs that can be attracted? They don't bother you, but they do bother some people. In plants, indoors or
outdoors?
either one, frankly.
Biodiversity is my answer to everything. I live at the edge of a wetland. I invite, well, not everybody, but you can get a tour if you, care to see. We're on the edge of a wetland, 22 acres. You would think it's mosquito heaven.
You would.
But because of the diversity of songbirds, damselflies, dragonflies, all the wonderful insect eating, beneficial animals, we have a balance of nature. So yes, you're going to get a bite once in a while. The reason why we have problems with Lyme disease is we have overabundance of deer. Not just the deer carry the deer tick. All the ground birds, all the other animals carry that parasite.
Okay.
So we need to bring back. Coyotes are coming back. It's wonderful. I don't have deer in the winter.
Because you have coyotes?
Right. We call him Bert, because Bert's been very active, So we have no sick deer, which is very healthy for our environment. And as human beings.
I do have another email. I guess listening to you talking about the indoors, suggestions for growing vegetables in an apartment situation.
Oh yeah, you can do that. There's lots of products. Technology is amazing. Biotechnology. You can go on the internet. There's lots of non-for-profit groups, which we can give you a whole list. Tower Gardens is one of our favorite. They have a whole system that we grow indoors and outdoors with lighting. If you think about how much marijuana is grown indoors in this country, well, you can grow anything.
I guess that's proof
fact,
positive.
Did you have another question?
I had a couple questions from a viewer in New Jersey.
Okay. The Garden State.
The Garden State, yes. And one was about she trimmed her hydrangeas way back because they were tall and stocky, and they're growing lush now, but she wants to know, will they flower this season?
It's hard to tell without seeing it, but she probably should have waited a little bit because you can't really tell. They start to foliate from the base.
Right.
So they might have continued to produce, leaves. But they, the flowers are produced on the second year growth, which is usually up here. So if you cut them to the ground, they're not perennials, they're woody shrubs.
Okay.
So that means probably they won't flower if you cut them all the way down.
So the advice would be don't cut them all the way down.
Yeah.
If you're going to trim them.
Yeah, like take a picture, go to Cooperative Extension and get some professional advice. Hydrangea is like, you need to know what you're doing.
And the other question she had was about trimming back rhododendron. After they flower?
Yeah, absolutely after they flower. Rhododendrons are very challenged in our environment because they're not native for the most part here. So they got too wet last year. And then right now, if you're not watering, go and water your rhododendrons today.
But she says she sees buds.
Right.
And she doesn't want to cut the buds.
Right, don't cut the buds.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
wait. Right now, since we're a month behind, I would wait till July if I had to answer that directly.
Okay.
And on that note, we are out of time. I'd like to thank you, Jay Archer, Green Jay. Thank you for joining us and enlightening us on gardening.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
And I'm so grateful to be here watching you guys, exchange with your community. And I'm Jay Archer from Green Jay Landscaping, and thanks for watching Westchester Live.
That's right. And stay tuned. We have more Local Live coming up right after this.